Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just give them a bit of time. They're trying something. Mid-South Wrestling are trying something. This will be this episode from July 1984. And Olivia Newton-John, Xanadu. No, it's too late for that, isn't it? It's not Xanadu. Is it? I don't think Xanadu was around in 84, was it? No, it was Footloose around. Because I got a good lose. Footloose. Don't think so. Anyway, on to this episode, which seems strangely subdued. One of the reasons being is they are trying something, and I really admire them for trying this. They have, over the last few weeks, ramped up and then allowed to simmer nicely the enmity between Butch Reed, who is the aggressor here, and JYD, the Junkyard Dog, who is very popular in Mid-South Wrestling. The Junkyard Dog would be time served. Butch Reed would be the kind of new incumbent who is trying to make a name for himself, and bloody well is, in that he has, with the help of the Midnight Express and James E. Cornette, jumped JYD usually when he's being interviewed. He keeps being interviewed and not really looking behind his back or anything like that to say, are they coming? And jumping him and then painting him, generally. And also tar and feathering him as well. It's not nice because it has so much overtones, which they covered with Sonny King being very honest about this a few weeks ago. Sonny King will now be in Mid-South Wrestling and he's on the programme this week. But they've been trying to keep this going. And actually, I was wondering, where's it really going? Because all you're having is JYD getting jumped all the time. Well, they've done something with it this week because neither of them are in the studio. Jim Ross, who's sitting there with Boyd Pierce, tells us that no, they're not in the studio because it's been so difficult and it's such a febrile situation. He doesn't use that word, but such a febrile situation that they're not in the studio, but they will be providing video packages. And JYD provides a video package of him training with someone, spotting him. It looks a bit like Manny Fernandez, actually, at a Spit and Sawdust gym. And also quite sweaty and bare-chested on some waste ground, it looks like. And he'll be giving you a very cursory little promo. And Butch Reed, who's up first, will be giving you a, yeah, I'm going to kill you kind of promo, where he shows just how powerful he is. And he's got more musculature than JYD, but JYD has got heart. He's got a heart. So yes, we're going to have a bit of that throughout this program, and that is what everything's built on. And they're keeping them apart, and what they're doing is they're just keeping the crowd waiting. And they are prepared, I presume, for the crowd to say, oh, so nothing's really going to happen this week, in order to ramp up that trouble. Really nicely done, you know. Really nicely done. So, we've got Murray Franklin, who's the new announcer. He's got a clipped beard and sport coat and slacks going on. Very nice. And first of all, Buddy Landau versus Mike Jackson. Landau does win. This is too short. Fast stuff early on, because they say that Buddy Landau's fast, but Mike Jackson is faster. Yeah. Jackson gets a back elbow. Buddy Landau gets a kind of X-Factor face buster type thing. There's a knee drop for a 2 count. And as I say, he takes the win. Far too short for me. And I think also Sonny King versus Bad Bob Owens. Bad Bob Owens is too short too. Owens attacks him before the bell. Of course, because he's bad, folks. He's bad. And then there's a slam from Sonny King, a knee, and a headlock, which is worked, and then a headbutt for the pin, a headbutt. And Buddy Landau sends lots of, they're not jobbers, but they're not top liners in to take out Sonny King. Not for a malted shake or anything like that. Actually to beat him up. And he's watching like this from the outside the ring, and then decides, well, they're not working, so I better hightail it. So he leaves. Buddy Landau leaves, and Sonny King wants him in the ring, but no, because why would you do that if you're a heel? You wouldn't, would you? So the Midnight Express versus Mark Ragin and Buddy West. Now listen, I've said it before, but Mark Ragin was Billie Jean and all that. He does his Michael Jackson thing, and actually he was seen about 3 weeks ago, as the new kind of the new person to come in, and they were going to push him and all that kind of stuff. And now he's a jobber. Weird, isn't it? So the Midnights look so good. The Rock and Rolls will be on later, and they don't look that good. Not compared to the Midnights, who are so smooth. Condrey works the arm. Raging does get a drop kick, but Eaton's in. A smack to the back of the head stops him. Eaton gets a slam. Condrey gets a slam. Condrey gets a chop block as Eaton clotheslines him for the pin. It's lovely. So he chop blocks the leg. Clothesline comes over the top. Beautifully done. They were a superb tag team. Just brilliant. Okay, we've got Mr. Wrestling 2, who last week attacked Mr. Wrestling. And this week, Mr. Wrestling is nowhere to be seen. So what happened there? He turned on Mr. Wrestling, and this week we seem to have forgotten it. Yeah, I know he turned on him, and it was a big move. Let's just forget about that, and hopefully so will the crowd. Well, I won't, because he's facing not Jay Lungblad. That would be horrible. Jay Lungblad, I think you better go to hospital. Jay Youngblood, who has had a tag team with Ricky Steamboat, but is now going out on his own. He's debuting here. They're really pleased. They see the tomahawk chop. Mr. Wrestling may get a slam and a bear hug. For ages. I mean, he lets go of it, something else happens, he goes back to it. He lets go of it, something else happens, he goes back to it. Yeah, and there is a pin for Mr. Wrestling 2 with his feet on the rope, so it kind of saves Jay Youngblood, but it's not the debut with Mid-South that he wanted. And where's Mr. Wrestling? I thought he's going to do a run-in because they were fighting last week. Well, they seem to have forgotten it. Right, well, Mr. Wrestling might be having a face turn. Well, he's not, is he? Because he's still a heel, because Jay Youngblood's a face. So why have you had him attacking Mr. Wrestling? I think it might be something we thought it might work. It didn't. Just forget it. Now, here are the Rock and Rolls. Rock and roll is king. Terrible. Shocking. Versus Pat Rose and Barry Orton, who, Jim Ross tells us, is Cowboy Bob Orton's brother. They never said that in the WWF, did they? I know there was some trouble, I think, if I remember rightly, with his tenure in the WWF. Anyway, there's a Morton hip toss and arm drag. Gibson gets an arm bar. It's quite a lot of that basic prosaic stuff. And, I mean, Pat Rose does take it to Morton, and Morton doesn't look like he's really surviving well, although he does reverse it with an atomic drop. But Gibson has to get the hot tag, deals with both of them. Punch to... for Morton to get a sunset flip. They don't even get their signature double drop kick in, and that's your pin. It looked like it wasn't their best. They weren't at their best today, so let's just leave it and get on to the next match. That kind of thing. Next match, of course, is Brad Armstrong versus Ted DiBiase, who has had some tenure in Mid-South, and from what I can gather, and as Jim Ross said, this is recorded. It's not on the show. It's recorded and shown on the show. And as he says, Jim Ross, it's the voice of Bill Watts. It's narrated by Bill Watts, but there's lots of crowd noise, and there is so much so that you can barely hear Bill Watts, which is not a bad thing. So there's in this match, it's pretty good actually. There's a Brad Armstrong drop kick, and Ted DiBiase bails. He was always someone who knew exactly what to do with the entertainment of the wrestling and what was happening in the wrestling ring and that positioning in there, all of that stuff. It wasn't just about wrestling; it was about the wrestling for him. So we get another drop kick from Armstrong, and again DiBiase bails. Then there's an edit, and DiBiase, he bounces for a punch. He bounces end over end. It's beautiful work, because it's not just about the offense, it's about the defense as well, or the selling of that defense, the selling of the offense, should I say. The selling of the offense, all of that. So we get a knee lift from Armstrong, which looks very good, but maybe because DiBiase made it look good, although Brad Armstrong's a good boxer, a good wrestler, should I say. Boxer? Well, yeah, he did get some punches in. A good wrestler himself too. Nice back suplex though, or a belly to back if you like, from DiBiase. He begs off from those big shots, but then there is a huge punch from DiBiase as Armstrong picks him up and he gets the pin from that. There are boos. And that's your main wrestling match, because we end with a Magnum TA package to My Way. I think these are all done by Joel Watson, and Joel Watts, should I say, and My Way. To think I did all this. You didn't know, did you? Because we can see in all the stuff that's happened that you were mentored by Mr. Wrestling. Mr. Wrestling then turned on you. You turned on him. So really, he's the one who's got you over. It's not all about you, Magnum. It's about Mr. Wrestling as well, isn't it? So we see all that, and then we talk about the super date and some girl wrestling coming up, as JR tells it. Girl wrestling, yeah. Yeah, well over 1,000 entries for the super date. In fact, nearly 2,000 entries. That would be well over 1,000 entries. But 10,000 entries would be a lot more over 1,000 entries. Anyway, next week, Magnum TA will face Killer Khan for his title, who's returning to the Memphis area. Well, where's the management committee there? What's Grizzly Smith doing, allowing him to come in and have a title shot? And other unanswered questions this week. I did enjoy it, because I'm loving Mid-South at this period, but they don't half try and hype this JYD and Butch Reed story, and you know what? I think they might just have managed it. Ta-ta.